I've worked as a speech pathologist and executive communication consultant for more than 10 years, and I keep meeting aspiring medical fellows, either future physicians or surgeons, who are struggling to prepare and in some cases even succeed in a Viva Voce exam. I've worked with a large number of medical professionals and have assisted even some to finally clear the huge rite of passage through the Viva Voce exam and thus gain board certification or entrance as a fellow. Today, I've decided it's time to discuss how to do a Viva Voce exam with you. Why? Well, because research indicates that Viva Voce exams will elicit emotions that range from mildly anxious to petrified, no matter your specialization. So if you've not yet worked with me to learn how to overcome speaking stress and deliver eloquently for your Viva Voce exam, this episode is for you. My goal is to look at key speaking strategies that you might like to incorporate into your next Viva Voce exam, and then I'll make some recommendations for what you can do to deliver eloquently and succeed. Welcome to the Cadenza channel. I'm Dr. Sarah Lobigeiger de Rodriguez. I train executives, experts, industry leaders, and medical professionals to speak with clarity, confidence, and charisma to achieve their career, brand, or business goals faster using science-backed personalized communication and executive voice coaching. So if that sounds like something you're looking for, be sure to subscribe. I work worldwide, so I've dropped a link to how you can work with me in the comments below. Okay, let's get into it. In the background of this episode, it's the time of year in Australia right now that aspiring surgeons and physicians find out whether they have successfully passed their fellowship interviews. It's a stressful and apprehensive time for everyone, since passing this hurdle opens the right to work as a specialist, finally, after dedicated years of study, clinical practice, large sacrifices such as sacrificing your personal life, holidays, or even relocating to remote parts of our country. It's not uncommon to have to take the fellowship interviews more than once, and we all know that the competitive niches have limited spots. Aspiring fellows are neck and neck, and with only a handful of spots to go around, it can take more than one attempt, if not years, to finally get the stamp of success and call yourself a medical fellow. Over on my website, you can also find an expert guide to deliver eloquently and succeed in a Viva Voce exam that gives you more tips. I've linked it for you in the description box below for you to check out once you've finished watching this video. Last week, I checked in on a client who was working with me last year. We'd been preparing for their third attempt to be admitted to the Royal Australasian College of Physicians. With great relief, I learnt that not only had they cleared the interview, finally, but they had also managed to obtain a new position, their desired position in a metropolitan hospital. They were delighted. I was ecstatic. This is the kind of outcomes that makes my work at Cadenza feel so worthwhile. On consideration, I decided it's time to share some tips with a wider audience, as I know they can work for you too. We need to talk more about coping with speaking stress as a medical professional, especially for Viva Voce exams. In case you're wondering what a Viva Voce exam is, wonder no longer. First, let's make it clear for everyone, just in case. Since medieval times, scholars have been examined in public, orally, and in Latin, with the notion of a written exam only emerging in the late 18th century as the standard. In recent times, Viva Voce exams have been reserved as the mainstay for niche, high-level final qualifications. Viva Voces have been designated to the elite scholastic pathways. They form the seal of the doctoral defence for most European continent and British PhDs, and most famously in medicine, the final, most crucial rite before fellowship. Viva Voce means with living voice, according to medieval Latin. So Viva Voce exams are high-stakes assessments designed to measure whether candidates have the skills, knowledge, and competence. Typically used for medicine, the PhD defense, and other forms of scholastic proficiency testing, these are high-level oral exams. I have an episode coming soon designed just for PhD candidates. If you're a medical professional aspiring to be a fellow, you might find it helpful as well. Although designed solely to give tips for thesis defense, there are some strategies that you can apply to your Viva Voce. But for now, let's focus on medical Viva Voces. You may also see them referred to as a Viva, an oral board, or oral. Do you refer to the Viva Voce by any other term? Be sure to drop it in the comments. I'd be curious to know what you call it where you're based. Let's explore more what these exams intend to do. Viva Voce exams aspire to test your competency and skill as an expert in your discipline in a conversational, dynamic format, particularly when under pressure, and predominantly to measure factors such as your autonomous rationales, decision-making skills, in-depth learning, and critical thinking in real time. Most Viva Voce exams induce nerves and performance pressure, no matter the format, objective, or specialty. If you're an aspiring surgeon or physician, you're likely very aware of the pressure your colleagues face, or maybe, like many of our clients, you're taking the Viva Voce for the third or fourth time. In this case, be assured that there are noteworthy approaches to adjusting your behavioral performance that can make a difference to how you position yourself in front of the panel of examiners to showcase your proficiency, clinical integrity, and advanced competency expected to achieve the public guarantee of your rite of passage. But maybe you're wondering, where does all this stress and pressure come from? If your clinical competency is there and you've passed all your clinical Vivas and written exams, why is the Viva Voce tripping you up? A Viva Voce is a performance, not just a test, a true performance. Seltzer et al. Discuss how Vivas are a performance in their fantastic readable guide written a while back in 2015, but a great document for you to peruse. Whether it's your first or fifth attempt, a Viva Voce can be approached with empowering strategies suited to performing rather than anxious thought intrusions. It's helpful to consider that your Viva Voce performance comprises two elements: content, what you say, and delivery, how you present it. Both elements work symbiotically and play a vital role in determining the impression you give. These two elements are no different in performance. Let's consider a top-tier violinist and their performance on stage. So in this case, the content might be Brahms' Violin Concerto in D major, Opus 77, one of my favorites, and the delivery would constitute how Itzhak Perlman, Joshua Bell, or Hilary Hahn may play it in their own distinct style, while considering the stylistic, artistic, and interpretive requirements of Brahms' work. Each player will play it differently, but performance practice ensures that each elite performer plays it well. While performances are subjective and an individual listener may favour one over another, there is an unspoken standard behind what constitutes a good performance for a competent violinist, as much as there are expectations of what good speakers, physicians, or surgeons need to showcase. The challenge with Viva Voces is that you have no score to memorize. So if you want to streamline your speaking system to deliver exceptional content despite unknown questions, we need a protocol that takes into account what happens to you when orating, interacting, and answering under pressure. You can better consider how your impression might be formed in the context of the Viva using a mental model. We can use the cadenza protocol to cover the 7 cadenza communication domains to assist your Viva performance skills. The 7 cadenza communication domains provide a mental model that helps you understand, predict, and integrate key skills that will shape your good impression and speaking comfort in the Viva. Since a Viva is by word of mouth, the capacity to access oratory techniques when addressing the audience or responding to unexpected questions from the panel of assessors will help you to showcase your merits, proficiency, character, and anticipated noteworthy contributions to the field. Now, I want to cover with you how to better prepare for your Viva using the two aspects of performance pressure. We'll first talk about content and delivery, and then look into optimizing your performance pressure management so that your content and delivery works best for you. Let's start looking at how to prepare to deliver the best content for medical fellow candidates. Since we've agreed that a Viva is a performance where you seek to transfer an honest, ethical and good impression to the panel or audience, let's consider what to do about presenting the best content in your Viva. According to your specialty, your Viva Voce exam will likely have bespoke requirements. Usually the format will be in the form of a semi-structured interview before a panel of interviewers or across a set of stations. Whether the discussion comprises behavioral or clinical decision-based questions, the ability to clarify your thoughts, demeanor, and delivery will better situate you to demonstrate your legitimacy for acceptance as a fellow. The panel aims to gain insight into who you are as a medical professional and whether you have the unique, desirable traits to add value and protect the legitimacy of the discipline. In many cases, due to limits on positions, the highly competitive nature of the entry can create a degree of mystery as to what the panel is seeking. Your ability to access clear and cogent thoughts and present them confidently and in an influential manner in response to both the expected and unexpected questions, as well as the ability to establish a memorable and noteworthy impression in doing so, may be what it takes to gain entry as a fellow. The highly competitive nature of various specialties means it's advisable to prepare how you respond to open behavioral questions in a manner that is both memorable and credible, the result of which will be determined by the logical clarity of your responses as much as your speaking style and delivery. To achieve cognitive clarity and present your key points precisely, I recommend you use mental models to guide the flow of thoughts through clear logical structures, no matter the question type asked, as well as tools to present responses to complex, ambiguous, or unexpected questions, recommended so that each response makes the most of your opportunities to share your insights in a composed, engaging manner. When you have the tools to focus on content more effectively while under pressure, you free up processing space to pay attention to the social nuance of the conversation between the panel and interviewers, which can enable you to focus more strategically on the performance and your delivery and create opportunities to build rapport more effectively with the panel. I caution you to be creative and discerning to be memorable. Using mental models and mnemonics can certainly assist your logical flow when speaking under pressure. But take care, because if you're relying on the same format, such as the STAR method or the SAW method, consider most other candidates will use a similar approach, so you may fail to be memorable. This is a vital consideration for highly competitive fellowship interviews, such as cardiac surgery, plastic surgery, neurosurgery, for example. Consider that what you say and how you say it in the Viva Voce becomes a data set for the panel or interviewers to assess your knowledge, competence, skill, emotional intelligence, and more by. With this in mind, let's get to our next section. How can you optimize the way you're managing the performance pressure of the Viva Voce? As you probably know, I'm an opera singer, and I can certainly vouch that the body and the mind react in performance pressure in two core pathways. So you'll find that when you put yourself into a performance setting, you'll notice that your performance anxiety tends to manifest with two clusters of symptoms: body sensations, such as increased heart rate, shaking, or other physical reactions, and thought intrusions, such as racing thoughts, mental blanks, feelings of desperation, or other mental responses. In particular, if this is your first attempt at a Viva, you might find that there's been minimal opportunity to have completed an oral defense of your character and competency of this nature and at this level. Thus, it can be really hard to establish your plausible reactions and hypothesize what they will be, especially for such an important rite of passage. It's therefore beneficial to implement a strategic protocol right away to manage likely, even unknown, performance pressure that's likely to arise on the day. To achieve mental and physical composure when faced with performance anxiety, I recommend you use evidence-based protocols to manage speaking pressure. This is an area I provide detailed training in at Cadenza. Stephenson et al. Found that even speakers who are normally calm in day-to-day interactions frequently face self-regulation barriers in oral exams. So the only solution here is performance strategy. You might consider trialing beta blockers with consultation by your general practitioner. However, the latest evidence into their efficacy, you should check a video I've linked in the description box, suggests their impact on reducing intrusive thoughts and psychological pressures is questionable, even though they can be effective for blood pressure and heart rate management concerns. They may not give you all you need for composure and to present eloquently. So if this is something that perturbs you, consider reviewing the following resources on how to develop well-regulated, composed speaker eloquence, especially when orating or presenting. Over on my website, we've got an article on how to select an executive public speaking coach so that you can gain exemplary oratory skills. That guide will give you some tips if you're looking at enlisting someone to help you strategize. I'll also link for you the Expert Guide to Executive Presentations. Now, although you're probably not aiming to be a medical executive, you just want to get that role as a cardiologist or plastic surgeon, this article gives you key speaking criteria that can activate rapport, credibility, authority, and influence, and you could apply some of these concepts for your exam goals. Today, we covered some key benefits to using speaking strategies in your Viva Voce as a medical specialist, aspiring. Firstly, we looked at entering your oral exam with tactics. These tactics will benefit not only your performance on the day, but your well-being in the lead-up. I've got more ideas in the blog post over on our website, so make sure you check that out to get all the tips provided. I also outlined that designing a performance anxiety management protocol can increase your chance of success by preparing your mind, thoughts, as well as body for peak performance. This is a totally feasible approach to take. Let me share with you that when I'm singing as an opera singer, I need to regulate my breathing, gain voice tone consistency, compose my face so I don't look anxious even though I am, and guide and calm my thoughts so I don't hijack and gaslight myself against notions of my skill and right to be on stage. All elite professional performers face these stresses and they're managed with protocols. We also had some candid discussion on how the Viva Voce tends to increase speaking stress, even in communicators who are normally calm and at ease on stage or in public speaking activities. Planning and training the desired speaking style will assist you to deliver eloquently, thus increasing your success likelihood. It's normal to feel anxious about this exam. It's a huge rite of passage, and in many cases it takes more than one attempt, not because you're bad at speaking or not good enough to pull through, but to cope with the approaches to handle such a big step. When faced with a Viva Voce that you're struggling to clear, don't despair. While the exam intends to appraise your professional competency, your results are more likely the outcome of how effectively you engage the panel, gain influence, build rapport, and signal legitimacy, measures that benefit from tactical charisma training. At Cadenza, we train public speaking for executives, leaders, and experts so that the integrity of their thoughts, intentions, and messages remain intact once in the boardroom, on camera, or stage, using speech science principles and the cadenza protocol to both set you and your listener at ease for the messages that matter. Remember, a Viva Voce is a performance, and as such, speaking performance strategies will give you competitive advantage. If you got this far, no doubt you're highly conscientious and also eager to present your value in the Viva better. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I have many resources and science-backed tactics that can assist you further. Get in touch also if you'd like more information. And if you want to take your communication in clinical life further to increase your professional speaking polish so that you can achieve the career outcomes you want, you should consider our Executive Communication Profile appointment, a favoured choice with elite medical professionals. I've left a link to all the details over on my website, so be sure to check it out. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and click like, and maybe even share it with your medical colleagues. I hope you found the topic helpful. Do you have questions? Use the comments section below. I read every comment and can't wait to hear from you. Also, I should mention you can find the scientific references listed over on the article. And I'm going to leave another video I really want you to watch at the end of this video that will take these ideas further and deliver more value for your speaking. So be sure to check it out. Thanks so much for watching, and ciao for now.